festen på dansegulvet. Du har brug for et soundtrack uden pause. Få musik uden afbrydelser. Få premium. Tryk på banneret nu for at få flere oplysninger.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to this best of 3 as we make our way into the Serenity Gaming Division 1 quarterfinals. Hillerød Esports took game 1 against Flams Esports in fairly comfortable fashion, and I am your dead. What can we expect to see as we head into game 2?
Yeah, we definitely see a lot of interesting things here in game 1 as Hillerød took the first game, and we do expect to see that our marksman Shim here definitely will pick an ADC, as we would like to see some more traditional style, because this was a bit too wild for us as casters. We do have a lot of the players being a bit triggered about us calling the wrong names, and a lot of upset fans in our Twitch chat about the Twisted Fate build path, but definitely a fun and interesting game, and we did see a lot of fun things and very strategic team fighting going on.
So we will have to watch out for those picks. I'm not sure. We might even see Sona Tarek this time. I don't think Shim wants to play anything sensible right now.
Yeah, definitely could be just about anything except for marksman for Shim. Anything else is certain. But currently I would really like to see that Flams get a bit more resources into this bot lane, because that was a big liability in this game. While SRG and Sebel was doing alright in the mid lane, even though Sloth and Alban came up to a better start, we did still see File Control beat Pascus really early on and got a lot of 1v1s happening there as well. So as long as Flam's bot lane can just survive and at least scale up in time, they should have a higher possibility of winning, and that's what I would like the adaptation to be for Flams.
We did see, of course, in game 1, Sloth and Shim being pretty huge, but then again, for Flams, Fart Control got a little bit out of control.
Yeah, definitely so, and he was a big focal point for his team. Sasachi also did a lot of nice things. He really put both of his solo lanes ahead, and we also saw Alban do quite a lot of work, especially in that mid and bot lane. And we do like to see when the junglers really do a lot of pressure, and this is definitely a game where we had a lot of that.
It does seem that both teams are ready, so we should be making our way into pick and bans in just a short bit. I wouldn't be surprised if you see that TF being banned pretty early on.
Yeah, definitely so, and I do like to see if they want to go for something similar. I do definitely believe that there's gonna be some bans very much targeted towards Hillerød. Now, the first one I would like to mention is especially that Yumi, because I think that enabled a lot with this teleport comp, where they could just arrive around the map as well, and Yumi is definitely one of the biggest reasons for that. As the first ban comes out as a Twisted Fate, of course Sloth played a very nice one at that, and there was a lot of controversy about his build path, and I also defend that Sloth of course knows probably this build the best of everyone here, as he was the one playing it himself and did have quite a lot of success on it.
As the Mordekais are going to be banned once again, so it leads me to believe that it is available for these teams. And we mentioned the Yumi ban coming through, but let's not take anything away from Sebelet because he played a pretty decent Irelia and he was unlucky not to get that first blood against Sloth.
Yeah, definitely so. And it could also just be that this Mordekaiser is meme ban and Hillerød is just that confident in their own skill, but I would believe that to just be a misunderstanding.
You'll have to see as the Sejuani once again being a banned, high priority ban. We didn't say, we didn't mention the Nunu in game 1, but that Nunu and Jarvan both available as we make our way into the first few, as we make our way into the final ban.
Yeah, but I do like to see all of these more aggressive junglers being picked up in these higher elo plays where they can really make use of them and also close out the games early enough. But we do like to see from one of our lower divisions is to see a lot of these team fights and very scaling comps where they can really play around. But since that we have left up a lot of the tools from last game, we might actually get to see some of the things just played mirror as the Pike is already picked up for the side of Lambs.
And the Yuumi is open and Hillerød will not allow that Pike Yuumi bot lane team as they are looking to take the Yuumi for their own. And if I'm not mistaken, Yuumi Ezreal is a pretty good lane duo. As
yeah. It is also interesting to see because Shim is traditionally not a guy who plays that many of the traditional marksmen, and I would like to see what he's gonna pick up now that he has a Yuumi without the Pike open. As the Aatrox is locked in, that I can only imagine is going to pass. Of course, it can deflect jungle and mid lane, and we do see these flex wars between these two teams as they really don't want to give away what each player is actually gonna play.
Aatrox being shown, the Aurelion Soul being hovered, but I highly doubt it. Could we possibly be seeing Shim on a Sona Yuumi bot lane?
I do not know about that yet, but I would not imagine so. As the Hecarim is being hovered and they're switching between Jarvan, and Jarvan is being locked in, which I also think is a lot more sensible that now that they have both a Pike and an Eco to combo with.
And that Jarvan being shown. We mentioned the Nunu earlier, so we could potentially be seeing Hillerød that up. 6 seconds left for the pick, and we can't overestimate the potential that Jarvan could even be top, so another flex pick as the Vladimir being picked up.
Yeah, definitely. So as we can still see Nico being played in almost every position instead of except for jungle. We see Pike being played in every position except jungle. We see Jarvan being picked in mid, top, and even sometimes support. So there's definitely a lot of things that can happen here, and we can't rule anything out because these teams are on a whole nother level when it comes to League of Legends.
As Hillerød are banning away that Irelia, Sebelet was pretty clean on it, as now the Hecarim being banned away from Alban, and to be fair, that Rek'Sai and the Vi both still open.
Yeah, both the junglers from last game are still open, and I do hope to see that Alban can get to play that Vi again, because he did do quite a lot of work on it, except for that one time where it ended up in an ace, which was unfortunate, but again, that does happen when there's so much out of control.
As the Riven being banned away, which makes sense, considering fire control was pretty big in game 1, and if he got his hands on a Riven, could be even big as Jim. The Riven being taken away from him with that final ban. Oh, yes! Let's go!
Away the bard. Now, because we see Pike in game 1, what else can roam around the map a million times over? What about Bard?
You know, when you mentioned that Shim doesn't want to play something conventional and the Pike was taken away, I thought Bard maybe, and then I thought I'm not going to say it. That sounds too stupid, but he's only gone and picked it.
Yeah, and we do see some players have still picked it up in like weird situations out of the support position. One of my favorite example is back from the Delta Fox days where Dyrus did pick it up. It wasn't as successful and the key victory factor, but Now we're seeing at the ADC, and it makes a lot of sense for what Hillerød has shown so far, as they might even be styling a bit on top of Flams.
Oh, could it be the Nautilus Pike bot lane? Maybe it's a potential. I don't think it is a placeholder. I'm just checking.
I would actually imagine it to be a Nico Nautilus bot lane with the on-hit Nico and then a Pike mid lane.
Or maybe Nico Pike, Nautilus mid lane?
I would say potentially, but I do still think that Nautilus is the support pick here.
Well, there's a lot of ways that Flams can play this as the Z being picked up from Hillerød.
That means that Alban is going to play this Aatrox in the jungle, and that is something that we haven't really seen much in the Springsplit. I know that I've been playing it myself, and it is fairly strong, and you can have some nice jungle clear with it without really taking any damage, much like Graves. But it is still a very niche pick, and it does really come through in these team fights.
And as you mentioned, this could be absolutely massive in the team fights, but just in case that game one between Seblip and Sloth, the Aurelia versus the ADTF, wasn't spicy enough for you viewers out there, a Pike Z mid lane matchup, you can't get much spicier than that.
And it actually can, as Flams is now going the other way and saying, Hillerød, you like free TP, we like free TP more.
And they've got the 3 TP, as you mentioned, and Shim taking that TP, the heal exhaust, being picked up by Tauber.
Double, why are you switching to Ignite last second? Come on, man.
And yeah, as you mentioned, Seblip not sticking with that TP, perhaps just respecting Sloth's Ignite. But
nah, I just think he's going for some more kills, man. I just think that he wants to go around and killing everyone. He's not about to join the fights. He's Pike, he can just run there.
Yeah, and we're in for a massive game too. That's all we can really say at this point.
Yeah, and we do have a lot of interesting things to take away from game one. So here in game two, I do want to just quickly highlight what we are looking out for. We're looking for an extremely aggressive early game for Flams this time around. They're doubling down on this fast comp that the enemy did, like the Hillerød did last game, and really want to take over there. And now they also want, Hillerød wants to go for the same kind of running around style, and this time just using set as a tool for doing that.
Well, Hillerød have a 100% winning streak with Yuumi at the minute. I believe we saw Yuumi winning yesterday, was it? And it's a very, very spicy game. But guys, if that Pike mid lane isn't enough to spice up your day, if the Z mid isn't enough to spice it up,
if Aatrox jungle isn't enough to spice up your day,
if Nikolai on the Nico on hit in the bot lane is enough, we have Shim playing the Bard and Tauber on the Yuumi. A Bard Yuumi bot lane. And on that note, guys, we're going to be heading into a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game two.
Starting to slow
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a game number 2 of this best of 3 as Hillerød Esports look to make a clean sweep against Flams. And you've joined us as we have entered a short break, which teams usually do at the start of Serenity Gaming games. And in case you missed the picks and bans, we got a Bard ADC.
Yeah, and we do see a lot of spicy things coming out in this quarterfinal, and we did see some nice and spicy things in game 1, but this is a whole nother level with Shim not wanting to play marksman whatsoever, rather just want to go with Bard, because why not?
Yeah, and I mean, words can't describe how exciting this is right now. And
yeah,
both
we're looking for the double invade here, level 1 again.
Once again, these teams love meeting up. The Nautilus will find the dredge line. He gets hooked in again. Albert will fall. First blood is on Flams, and it's on to Zetchi's Jarvan. Let's go, boys. We are here for the Division 1 playoffs.
Yeah, and Flam's just showing that this time that Nautilus actually wants to go for level 1 hook, as last game he was hesitant to do so. This time, no hesitation. This is early game focus team, and they will not stop.
It's even better because they have Sebelip with the Bone Skewer, which landed straight after, which prevented Alban from getting away at all. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm a little more concerned for Hillerød this time, because while they do have a nice selection of damage, I do not believe that their team has as much compatibility as they did last game, and I'm a lot more excited for this Flams lineup because it is exactly what you need for an early game lineup, with Nico of course falling off in the later stages of the game but being really good in the early, Pike of course having an incredible early game with nice follow-up, Jarvan being an early game jungler, and Nexon being an early game bully, and Nautilus of course being an extremely strong engaged top support.
Yeah, of course he was ever so slightly nerfed coming into patch 9.1 too early.
As we might look for level 2 gank for Jarvan.
And Tazechi looking for a potential play in this bot lane, not on any wards, and actually probably got spotted out by this red ward in the tri-bush. The pings are coming through. The knockup from the flag and drag. Dredge line comes through. Shim is going to be caught out. And why did you move forward? They pinged that he was there.
Yeah, as you say, they knew for a fact, but they wanted to go up and check to try and look if he was going for that blue buff. But sadly, that is just a completely wrong idea, as Spark was not level 2 and he couldn't put down his
Tazechi gets the flag and drag knock up. Sloth forced to burn the flash.
And Seppel just barely misses with that bone skewer.
Now, Tauber getting brought down a little bit low, is able just to jump back onto Shim. So all's well that ends well, but 2-0 for Flams.
Yeah, and so far we have seen a bit of spicy things coming out in chat, as of course you have been forced to remove that, but I can get to see all of the fun thing. As mid lane, we have a bit of trade.
Well, Sloth being brought so low, and of course Sebelip has the W passive where he'll just be able to get that health back as soon as he goes into stealth. But Tazechi looking for the flag and drag forces Sloth to cancel the back. The flash comes through from Sebelip. Can't find the play though, as Sloth will be able to use the Living Shadow to safety. Good attempt from Sebelip.
Yeah, there's so much going on here. I have been informed by Flam's mid laner that he wants to be called Sebel, so let's just stick with that for now.
Okay, Sebel, my bad.
As we do see Nikolai having Glacial Augment on this Nico, which does seem to me that he is going for the, of course, the freeze field build instead of the on-hit that we might have been looking for. Which does make a lot of sense because the rest of his team has a lot of AD damage, so they don't really need any AD from the Nico side and want to completely focus on the AP.
Now, Alban is quite deep and he might be getting caught out as he's coming across into the Drake pit and he will flash over. But now, Sebel making his way into this jungle will drop down the ward. Alban, where's he gonna go? He is able to dash over into this Krog's pit as Shim and Tauber are here. So is Sebel. Undercover Potato has the dredge line. Can Alban actually escape? He's going to probably try to use that Q over to safety. As he'll get caught out by Tzechi, but the flag and drag mistime as Sloth in the middle of nowhere gets picked off. Albin being brought low. Shim getting poked down. Tzechi looking for the Dragon Rage, won't be able to find it. The dash through from Sebel will find the CC, and the dash through the wall won't be enough from Shim. It will allow Tauber to escape, but 2 kills for nothing, and Flams in control of game 2.
Yeah, we were talking last game about if it was adequately correct to call it a clown fiesta, as they were a lot more methodical in these fights. But this time around, there can't really be any discussion about it. This is indeed a clown fiesta, and it has so far worked out greatly for Flams.
Yeah, and Albin just getting too aggressive. All credit to Tzechi. We saw in game 1 how aggressive she was as a jungler with those ganks. And she's doing it again in game 2 as Far Control, looking to get that trade onto Pasks, has the level 6 advantage. The mid lane Sebel, only level 4, and the same for Sloth. These mid laners are very underexperienced.
Yeah, and the one I really want to highlight for this game so far is the undercover Potato, who has been playing this Nautilus and finding some beautiful hooks onto Shim, and that is why we see Shim on this 0-2 score so far. Not making sure the bard works out as we had hoped.
Yeah, the bard pick, I'm just glad I'm seeing a bard ADC. I don't think anyone has seen this before.
Yeah, and normally we would be encouraging you to play this in your solo queue games, but bard ADC, I will discourage you by saying he's 0-2 already, so please don't try it, because I still won my LP when you first time tried in your ranked games and meet me.
Oh, Nikolai getting poked down a little bit by Shim. And, I mean, to be fair, Shim was so big on the pike in game 1, but not able to find such an advantage in game 2. However, we are starting to enter a bit of a quieter period now. And both AP supports in this bot lane. I didn't realize we had gone back to the Season 8 meta.
Well, of course, Nautilus is supposed to be a tank, but he just has so much damage in these early levels and so much crowd control. And also the thing that makes Shim Bard so much different than the Pike is the different playstyle. While Shim can sit back and farm a lot easily than he can on the Pike, the movement speed, the healing, the survivability, sustain, and roam potential is actually much lower than Pike. You wouldn't think so with the magical journey, but just the ability to stealth in and out of combat, as well as all of the movement abilities that Pike provides, is just going to be way better than the Bard tunnels.
Asks getting poked down a little bit in that top lane. This coming through again from Nikolai, getting that Tangle Barbs booming burst combo pretty nice. But Albin finding undercover Potato and backing off, needs to play it safe. No, they don't have vision on where Tzechi is. They're just going to clear a ward in the first Drake. Oh, sorry, the second Drake of the game is going to be a Cloud Drake. That first Cloud already taken by Flams.
I'm just going to make sure we are at the same point in the game, because I'm currently 820.
I am 820 as well, as Tauber getting brought down really low with the Ignite. Will be forced to back off.
And I just want to mention that Far Control so far has really been controlling in both of these games.
Oh, here we come to Tzechi with a flag and drag. The Living Shadow from Sloth comes in very, very quickly. But now here comes Albin. The ult! It's a 2-man ult! And Nikolai will they be able to find anything? No, the Dredge line from safety will bring undercover Potato to safety, and the Tempered Fate just not able to find anything, as Sloth looking for the play onto Sebelip. The death mark is available, and that's a fair bit of poker. Sebelip, the Bone Skewer prediction just slightly off time. The depth from below won't find its mark, but neither will the death mark, as Tzechi finds the play and finds the kill. And that was pretty good from Sebel and Tzechi. And now in the mid lane, actually, Tauber being brought down pretty low as the Pop Blossom comes through. Shim will be poked down. Nikolai gets poked down that little bit harder. And it's 7 kills to 0 for Flams.
And of course, just to ensure that there's no triggering, it is still Sebel, not Sebelib, as we have been calling him so far.
Yeah, as Tazechi finding the solo kill onto Albin. That's 8 kills to 0 now.
Yeah, and so far we've seen both of what we wanted to see from Flams, being that this bot lane will just be able to simply outscale, or at least just outperform, I would say, bot lane. While we still see the top jungle and mid lane all doing incredibly fine, just having this TF no longer onto Sloth, so it's just easy setups for Albert, has truly set Sebel, Tazechi and Far Control in just a complete dominant position when it comes to moving around this map.
You think Hillerød have crossed the line between the genius drafting? Is actually going to hold that thought as the ultimate coming through from undercover potato. That depth charge will use a dredge line to safety, but gonna see a bit of a fight here around the top side. Red buff, Sebelip looking for the potential play, can't find the bone skewer, will get hit by the Darkened Blade, and Sebelip does not have the depth from below just yet. Tazechi, no Cataclysm just yet, but they will chase Albin and Sloth away as the bot lane from Flams just pushing in slowly but surely. Still Flams online for this perfect game.
Yeah, and so far we've seen incredibly control from Flam's side. It's not as explosive from last game, but there's still definitely a lot of things going on.
As the Tempered Fate will come through. The CC comes through onto Nikolai. Pop Blossom, though, getting a bit of turn damage. However, they won't be able to find anything just yet.
Yeah, and this bot just doesn't really have any damage so far, and that means that even if they catch them out, they really can't ever kill them.
As those prowling projectiles just not doing enough poke damage just yet, as Albin making his way to the bot lane. See if he can find anything just yet. Sebelip trying to get a bit of damage onto Sloth, able to proc that electrocute, but once again things starting to settle down that little bit.
And one thing I do want to highlight from this game that hasn't really been as much of a focus is the fact that Sloth is still getting the blue buffs, and know that
Speaking of Sloth, he's looking to find the kill. Death Mark comes through and it will secure the kill. Death from below just never got pulled through by Sebel, and the first kill from Hillerød onto Sloth.
Yeah, and I just can't get any sentences in this game, and I've accepted that now, because these two teams, they won't ever think of the casters. They are just thinking about getting all of the kills all the time.
If this goes to game 3, we'll have to have a word with them in the lobby. But the second Cloud Drake being secured by Flams Esport, and that's going to be a lot of movement speed. And we already discussed just how much rotation this has, as Undercover Potato and Tazechi making their way into the bot lane, but Potato can't quite find that dredge line.
Yeah, and Albin is on top of the map, but he's only level 7. Meanwhile, we see Far Control, who's already level 11. So he's a very big threat from the side.
DC coming through from Sebel. No death mark available. He will find the depth from below for 1 kill. The flash dredge line will be flashed away from by Albin. 9 kills to 1 for Flams.
Meanwhile, in bot lane?
In bot lane, it will be the kill from Shim as Nikolai is left all alone. First turret has been secured in that top lane by Fart Control. Once again, having a fantastic game. Rift Herald in the mid lane. The outer turret there has been taken, and Flam's going to look to take this inner turret as well.
Yeah, definitely does look like they also will get it, even though we do see the passes.
Oh, the dredge line will land. Pasks, can he find the way? Flag and drag coming through. Cataclysm is available. Deathmark onto Tazechi. The flash will come through from her. It's a good play from Sloth as the dredge line being cancelled by Albin's Darkin Blade, and they will pick up a second kill as Hillerød Esports looking to make their way back into game 2.
Yeah, and after all of this trouble Pascas has these few games, it's nice to see that once he actually joins his team is there to look out for him and make sure that even though he is in a sticky position, they will still help him out, and they do this incredibly fine team fighting.
Now looking to push in this mid lane. He will take a turret shot as Nikolai will land some CC from the Hextech GLP. As Sebel looking to find the play, Pop Blossom comes through, will find a kill. Sebel a little bit low now. Shim looking to chase down, getting the damage. Cataclysm comes through. It's a 2-man Cataclysm. The ultimate from Nikolai will find a double kill as the journey will come through. Won't be enough as a tower will fall to Tazechi.
Incredible.
I think that's all we can say right now, as 3 kills for nothing coming through from Flams Esports, and they're looking to end this even quicker than as another bone skewer coming through. Pasks being brought a little low. Death from below will find one. Deathmark is not available just yet from Sloth, as Sebel could look for a potential play, especially if this dredge line can land from undercover potato, but Flams just gonna back off, see if they can get any jungle camps. Sebel looking for the play as the depth from below won't find anything. Deathmark coming through. Sebel, can it find anything? No, as the depth charge will come through. Dredgeline can't find its mark, but they are able to burn that Deathmark from Sloth.
Yeah, so far this team doesn't really remind me of League of Legends. What I have more seen is, it actually reminds me more of some sort of team deathmatch type vibe from a first-person shooter. Yeah, actually, just fighting all the time, looking for kills. Objectives, who cares? We get one if we just have the time. But there's just so much killing, and so many towers is of course being taken down, drakes as well. But that just doesn't seem to be the focus. It's the kills, then the objectives. And while that is true when you want to like play League of Legends, it's just never what actually happens. It's setting up sieges and so on, and these teams, they don't care. They will kill the kills, and then after that they can think of objectives.
9 kill advantage on Flams, a 2 Cloud Drake advantage, and a 9k gold lead, as the third Drake is the Infernal Drake, which will be spawning in just under a minute. Baron will be up in about 3. And Flams have a lot to look forward to.
And both teams have already been pinging it, so they are very well aware that this is the Drake. And I'm kind of scared, because Infernal Drake means more damage, and that means more fighting. And more fighting means that we are gonna have an even tougher time to cast this game.
We will have to be watching out for those, as Flams still have all of those turrets available. Pask's looking to change that as he's pushing in on this top turret, but doesn't have the damage though, only has that Protobell item. Albin has made his way here, but for control, 2 and 0 looking to make the play, burns the ultimate. Albin gets absolutely blown apart, and now Pasks is alive. Fart Control, can he find anything? Hemoplague coming through, but it's not going to be enough. And Fart Control, huge, picking up the double kill as the rest of his team are able to secure that Infernal Drake. And how do Hillerød come back into this game?
Yeah, and I was about to say that I was worried about Albin's future for this game, because he is so far behind, and now he's about to go up in the top lane when the Drake is about to spawn. But Fart Control is just so far dominating this game, and since Tasechi has just been playing so much around the other lanes, and Fart Control is still winning, that just means that this game is just almost impossible to come back for Hillerød Esport here.
Sloth looking for the play onto setup. They use the death mark. Setup not able to time the dash correctly. Depth from below won't find the kill as death mark proc. Speaking of depth, death charge comes through, and it will secure the counter kill. 1 for 1 in that bot lane, but a lot of resources poured from Flams as they look to get the third and final in a turret. And 4 members of Flams have the Baron buff now.
Yeah, just to see that we aren't just moaning about how explosive this is, just look at the kills right now. We have 21 kills in 19 minutes. These guys are not kidding around. They want at least a kill a minute, if not more.
They have been playing this very, very aggressively, to say the least, and you have to feel that while in game 1, Hillerød maybe came out with a really nice draft, have they possibly towed the line between genius and crazy in game 2?
I do also think that what was genius about it in the earlier game was just how well it fit together. Like, Flam's this game fits together much the way that Hillerød did in game 1. Very nice and very spontaneous. But this time we have so many things that doesn't really work together. Vladimir set both really strong burst champions, but they work in completely different ways. Vladimir's more team fights, Set is more isolated. Bard is, of course, a very different scenario for an ADC position.
I think different is a good word to describe a Bard ADC.
Yeah. And then lastly we have an Aatrox, which again is about getting that first pick and after that going through the rest of the fight, which is more in line with what the Vladimir wants to do, but Sloth is just the only one who's really getting anything done here.
As Tedeschi gonna cancel Shim's back, and going back to this team comp, another issue, at least I potentially see as an issue, is Hillerød have no real engage, they have no real front line.
Yeah, they definitely don't. They have to rely on all of these picks, and that's gonna be really hard when they're this far behind.
As now, Lambs gonna make their way over to the Baron. The ultimate will come through from Shim just to delay it for now. Possibly buy Hillerød a little bit of time, but that's one ultimate out of the fight from Flams as Far Control looking to make its way potentially over to mid lane and catch out Sloth. But right now, Flams just need to play this slow and steady. And Nikolai possibly getting caught out. The final chapter comes through. The Zhonya's is burnt by a bit of time. The Cataclysm is massive as the death mark will come through. Not going to find enough as Shim being brought so low. Sloth is back just to zone away Sebel. And now Sloth under chase from Fart Control. Shim will get CC'd down that little bit more. Sloth getting CC'd himself. Oh, the dredge line will land. It cancels the blast code. Fart Control is dominating. Shim is under attack. A two-man CC. The flag and drag will get a little bit more CC. Shim just leading these guys on a goose chase and buying some time. But Shim will fall. Tauber will fall. And it's 3 kills for 1 in this long extended fight. And perhaps now Flams can go for that Baron.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about that short break I just took there. I was getting something wrong with my throat, so I didn't really get to see it, but I just got to the end of there and thinking, oh, I guess it's just another fight.
It was just another fight, but once again, Hillerød looking for ways to come back into this, but not able to find anything.
Yeah, and so far it really does look dire for them. There's not much they can do there. 11k behind it, they're just trying to get for picks, and what's really scary right now is that it's gonna be hard for them to do anything because Tedeschi and Fart Control is very tanky members as well. They are these bruisers, and since they still do quite a lot of damage, they are still big threats. So even if they can get a lot of picks with Sloth, it will mostly be onto Sebel, Nikolai, and it may be even undercover as long as he doesn't get the aftershock through the combo.
Yeah, and we mentioned in game 1 that it was very even in terms of a late game, but in terms of scaling for game 2, who do you see it having the advantage?
I think it's very hard to really distinguish there, because we do of course again have to talk about the Bard ADC.
Yes.
And we know we are hacking down on it a lot.
On hit Bard ADC, may I add.
Yeah, of course, but...
Oh, actually, hold that thought, because Far
Tigers.
Control in the top lane, bringing Paskets very loud, forcing him to burn the tides of blood. As Albin looking for something, Sloth making his way over into the top lane. Far Control trying to find something onto Albin. as Depth from below coming through. Deathmark might buy Sloth a bit of time, but it won't be enough. It's a double kill onto Sebel. As Far Control looking to take this first inhibitor of the game. The flash comes in from Far Control. He finds the CC. The Tides of Blood are not available. And Far Control will find a solo kill almost under the Nexus. As right now, Flam's going to be taking this Baron. And Far Control, he's picked up the inhibitor. He might even be looking to end right now. Tauber is up. Shim up in a couple of seconds. Far Control will be backing off for now. Alban, he knows he needs to contest it. He's being zoned away though. Sebel can't quite find anything. Can Alban make the steal of the series? No, he can't. Alban has proc the ultimate. Alban will fall. And this may very well be a GG well played coming up.
Yeah, and you were talking about late game, and to that I say, these two teams, no, they're not going late game. They're not even gonna
Sloth looking for the play onto Zetchi. Will use the Deathmark to avoid the Bone Skewer. Will pick up the kill. Does not burn the flash. I thought he almost did at the end. But again, we've mentioned Hillerød looking for these picks. They're finding some every now and then. But every time they do, it feels like Flams come back with something even bigger, even better.
Yeah, because then they just get the free recall after all. And then they have some murder items. And now they're even less likely to die. But yeah, while we can talk about bot ADC late game and so on, I don't think we will get the chance to, because Flams have so far been very nicely in control, and I do believe they're going to set up some sieges.
Yeah, they're looking to push in this mid wave, and I'm sure Far Control will be making his way up to the top lane. And I've actually just heard something rather insane. Apparently, Far Control is only 13 years old.
Yeah, we do see a lot of prodigies playing League of Legends. As we can remember in the earlier season, there was actually some fanboys that played a lot of League and got to some insanely high ranks. And most of the pro Chinese League has always been very young, so it is not surprising, but again, it is very impressive indeed that he is so good at League of Legends at such a young age.
And that probably also explains the name somewhat as well. It does sound a little bit like a 13-year-old's name. But Far Control in the top lane might be looking for something onto Sloth. We'll just back off for now. Here comes Sebel. Can't quite find the Bone Skewer.
I do, however, just want to elaborate that name is indeed a Danish name.
Oh, is it?
And it
okay.
It doesn't mean what you think it means.
Okay, good.
It does mean speed control, though, so...
Speed control, okay.
Yeah, so it's not as you would have thought it meant, but I can understand the misconception.
As Far Control will back again, getting that reset as these Baron minions just crashing in on the Nexus. The Bard ultimate will come through just to buy that Nexus turret a little bit of time.
Oh, but look who's coming in now. Oof.
Oh, the TP coming in from Far Control. The second inhibitor will fall. Zetchi gonna make a way over to this final inhibitor turret, and they're not actually gonna take it straight away. They're just gonna push the minions in. Why risk anything? Flams says. Far Control pushing in, might be looking for the flank, or in fact Far Control might be looking to end. He's taking one turret. The rest of the team gonna be taking this third and final inhibitor turret. Far Control CC'd under turret. He's looking for the place. He's got Alban low. The Bone Skewer will come in, will find something. Death from below can't find anything onto Sloth. Sloth will die regardless though. The final Nexus turret will fall. Flams gonna be taking this to a game 3. And what a win from Flams, turning this series on its head after being a little bit clapped in game 1 by Hillerød. And this time, Flams take the fight to Hillerød. They take game 2, and we will be heading into a game 3.
Yeah, this was of course an incredible series. Like, we are currently 2 games in, and we've seen so much early game aggression from both of these teams, and it's truly impressive to see. And I'm especially wondering about this pike we've seen in both games, because both teams have seemed to pick it up, and I do want to see if these teams will continue to have this much of an early aggression as we're going into the break.
seconds while you dream. A life never lives in peace. As you stand upon the edge, woven by a single thread, and fate may fall down upon you, while the devil is knocking right at your door. So are you restless? Each night you hear the drums of war. Awaken, awaken, the voice begins to call you while you hunger. A taste of destiny you're searching for. Awaken, awaken, the fight is at your door. Take up the cause. As you stand upon the edge, in the battles, and flame may fall down upon you, while the devil is knocking. So are you restless? Each night you hear the drums of war. Awaken, awaken, the voice begins to call you while you hunger. Taste of destiny you're searching for. Awaken, awaken, awaken.
Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to a war we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment, now is your time.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the first quarterfinals of Serenity Gaming Division 1 playoffs as Hillerød Esports and Flams Esports are tied one game apiece in this best of three, and both teams making their way into this final game. And I'm your dead. What can we expect to see this game?
Well, we can at least expect to see me back from the dead after I choked on the stream live in front of everyone, but we can also expect to see some incredible action from both those teams. Both have been prioritizing having a lot of early game aggression, taking a lot of fights and turning those fights into objectives. And I do expect to see a lot of the same picks coming through, like the Nautilus, like the Pike, if they're not already banned, as we do see Nautilus and TF being banned after their incredible performances in the first two games.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to be seeing that Bard being banned, though. Didn't quite pop off, did it?
Well, we never know. They might just not want to bother with seeing the true potential of the pick.
However, Pike is available, and this time Hillerød are on the blue side, but they are going to ban the Pike. They don't want to go for that Pike Yumi, and the Yumi still available, though. And 100% win. No longer 100% win rate after it lost yesterday in the last game. What am I saying?
Yeah, but it also lost right here today, as we did see Yumi not being able to perform with the Bard in the last game.
You'd have to wonder, we might be seeing that. Then again, Mordekaiser! Yes, we have a Mordekaiser, guys!
And this was, of course, the biggest thing we were talking about, that Mordekaiser is apparently enabled, because we haven't heard anything from the side of our staff that says otherwise. So we will expect that to be legal, as it is probably going either into the top or the jungle, as that's where it has seen the most success.
And we are already getting questions, isn't it banned away? We did see both teams ban it in games 1 and 2, which leads us to believe that it is open. I'm going to trust that the teams know what they're doing, as the Thresh going to be picked up for Undercover Potato, and the Aatrox didn't work so well in the jungle for Auburn in game 2. Probably going to be on fart control for game 3.
Yeah, we do see the Aatrox coming in here, this time for the side of Flams Esport, though, as Sejuani is looking to be picked up, which is something we have seen banned in the first two games.
Yeah, priority banned in games 1 and 2. Priority banned even in the Division 3 finals yesterday. And we've just got confirmation that the Mordekaiser is actually banned. It is locked and it is unavailable to play. So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. I'm just going to take a quick look at placeholders, just in case the Mordekaiser is just a troll pick, but a placeholder anyway. And it's not, as the Annie being hovered.
Yeah, so basically what we have heard here is that the one in charge of us has actually said that Mord is not allowed, and we have not heard confirmation to say that we should stop match yet. We might actually have to do so and try and remake the lobby based on that.
However, just had confirmation as well of a placeholder, so the Annie is Yumi, as the draft is cancelled, and that has to be for that Mordekaiser pick. First time I'm actually experiencing this issue as a caster, and this throws the whole kind of pick and ban phase on its head after, you know, the Sejuani pick was shown, after that Thresh pick was shown as well.
Yeah. So our production team is currently in contact with our, what should we say, our boss?
The owner of Serenity Gaming, the boss.
Yeah, the one in charge of the entire tournament has said that Mord is indeed banned and is unable to be playing.
We'll have to see what's going to happen, as we are getting messages in the draft that, you know, Mord is banned, and then there's some Danish, so I don't know if they're saying no, he's not banned, maybe he is banned.
Okay, I'm just quickly going to trace the Mord is banned or what. Yeah, Mord is banned, my mistake. XD Mord was banned both games and that was because Hillerød still thought it was allowed to be played. I guess we played bans in game 1 and 2 without the knowledge. So I'm just gonna message them.
Yeah. And I mean, we saw it at the time when we were saying, you know, the Mordecai's are being banned away, and I mean, you said I Am Your Dead, that it's not available. You can't play it. So very weird that Hillerød were not aware of this, but I'm interested to see whether both teams are going to accept to make the same picks in picks and bans. Of course, the only thing this may affect is that Aatrox, which of course could have been a flex pick regardless.
Okay, and we are ready to jump into the game again, as this time we should not see the Mordekaiser at all.
Attempt number 2. Don't forget that third pick came in as Yumi. Let's see if there's any differences as the Nautilus being banned out.
Yeah, and definitely, I do believe we're gonna see a bit difference in especially the draft, because I do believe that the Mordekaiser Sejuani was a big part of what they wanted to do. I also believe that Yumi is probably still gonna have a high priority if it's not banned, because Yumi has been picked in both these games and it has actually been quite strong even on the losing side.
As all bans are the same so far, but
We
Hillerød,
should also be seeing a pike here, if I'm not mistaken.
however, Pask's taking his time, which, you know, leads me to think that they're discussing maybe something different to ban. Maybe they think that they want to leave the pike open since they have the first pick and the Thresh is banned. And that was the first pick from Flams Esports in game 1 in the first pick and ban phase.
Yeah, and this could very much lead to me to believe that this is a pike first pick, because that has been the major player in both games with a 100% win rate in the series. But no, it's actually the Sejuani who has also been banned in both games with a high priority for the jungles because of its very strong early game, mid game pick potential, and of course tankiness. It's still a really good pick, but also looks to slow down the pace just a little bit from what we've seen so far in the series, as of course the pike is being locked in.
Now the Yumi is open. Could we see a pike Yumi like Hillerød picked up in game 1? And pike was banned, so
Yeah,
Flams Esport as a Nico.
Yeah, this is of course Flams Esport picking up the pike, which leads me to believe they're going for much of the same comp again, as most of their tools is still open, with both the pike and Nico still being open. I would believe them to go in the same positions as last game, with the mid pike and ADC Nico, but it could still go anywhere as this trading before. And Camille being locked in. And this of course is a very interesting pick, because right now there is just keep hovering that sloth as we're talking about Camille mid lane, because Camille mid lane is currently actually very strong, especially with Sejuani, and it is one of the most contested picks in LEC currently, if you can get that combo off, and that is essential because that lets you have an extremely strong lane, especially against melee mid laners.
Are we getting the Sona pickup? Could they be looking for the Sona Taric bot lane?
And I do believe that's exactly what they're looking for, but more importantly, could it also be Sona Tahm Kench? Because of course, we can also see the Tahm Kench paired with the Sona, and if worst comes to worst, we can always see the Sona being flexed to support.
And I've also been looking at Reckless's game match history recently. He's been playing a bit of Sona, and I've seen the Tahm Kench coming with that. I've seen the Taric coming, but I've also seen Alistair as the Yumi being picked up for Flam. So maybe right now Hillerød, they're just saying ban away the Tahm, ban away the Taric, and waste your bans, and we'll just move Sona to the support position.
Yeah, and it does actually make sense with the Alistar, because the entire thing about the Sona bot lane is you want a support that can take Relic Shield, so he can start farming in the early game without getting punished for it, until Sona can get her support item, and then after you still want the survivability, so you want somebody who can tank / heal you, or at least hold you alive in fights, where you can just keep on spamming your spells, just stacking up, because you will get a much easier power spike with your items than anyone else, and you will get a lot more money once you've reached your full potential on your support item.
Now that Akali getting picked up, being banned away, we saw it banned in game 1. I can't remember if it was banned in game 2, but a very, very powerful pick. And again, we are yet to see whether it's going to be the Pike Yumi bot, as the Tom Kedge has been banned. This leaves a lot of jungle picks open for Hillerød, and of course the ADC is still open.
Yeah, of course. We do still believe it's a Johnny jungle. But
Oh, yeah, sorry, my bad.
yeah, but it is really interesting. Yeah, of course, the Trundle is not something we see often, but it is one of the best counters to Sejuani, so it's a good ban away. But this is also maybe an elaborate ruse, and that's exactly why you have to be so scared of the Sona pick currently. Because in Pro Draft, you will see, like in the tournament draft function, you will see these two bans having almost certainly to come through, because Sona Target is just such an insane combo, and so is Tam Kench Sona, and but now even Alistar Sona is still very much a viable bot lane.
We'll have to see. It doesn't matter which order they pick it now. The Aatrox is being picked up. Again, no idea where Flam's esports are taking what. Of course, the Aatrox could be in the jungle. As the Galio coming through now, could still be switched, but a good pick, I think, and it could work with that Sona.
Yeah, but this could also actually lead to me thinking that it might honestly be a Camille top lane and a Galio mid. Of course, it could still be Galio support and Camille mid, but I do think it's gonna be Galio support this time around and Sona ADC, as the Urgot is picked up for Hillerød.
This is
placeholder?
insane. It looks like it might potentially be that final placeholder coming through. Undercover Potato clearly doesn't have all the champions available to him, and this would, again, we can't exactly speculate. It could be the jungle pick, if it could be a mid lane pick if that Aatrox is going, and the enemy will be picked up. Let's see if they actually exit. Yes, they do. So it looks like we're going to be having to go into picks and bans for the third time. Now I'm going to quickly check what that was a placeholder for. Annie is Jarvan.
And of course, we've seen Tasechi in these early games jungle and had the Jarvan last game. So this is, of course, Flam's Esports saying, okay, we took a page from your book and went complete early game. That worked out just fine for us, and we are content with doing that a third time. Which also leads me to believe that we now know exactly where every champion goes for Flam's Esport.
Yeah, so we're going to be getting that Jarvan heading into the jungle, Aatrox top, Nico mid, and then we're going to be getting the Pike Nico in that bot lane, just like we saw from Hillerød in game 1.
Yeah, and we do seem to have some Discord problems for these teams, so there might be some pauses related to that, as it's currently having an impact on the communication. So we will get ready for a pause once we get into the game.
We're getting some suggestions that it might be the Nico Yumi bot with Pike mid.
And that does seem to be the case. We are.
Okay. As once again, so fourth time into picks and bans, we might be able to get something to work, as I've just got about 4 invites to games that I've kept closing, and he invites me straight after, so I'm just going to leave it up now. But interested to see how this goes. Of course, we could be seeing that Nico Yumi bot lane, but Pike Yumi worked in game 1, so I don't see why it couldn't be a possibility.
I do understand, of course, the Pike Yumi was seen in game 1, but that was still on the side of Hillerød, and Sebel did play
on
with Pike here in game 2, and Nikolai played Nico in game 2, which does potentially have the higher possibility of being picked in that order, as Sebel and Nikolai would probably be more confident in playing the champ they played the game before than playing the exact opposite.
And it looks like we're getting a sub, and it looks like Van, unless Van is going to leave.
No, I think Van is the coach, but currently they are still having these Discord problems, and they are looking for any kind of solution.
So Talbot will make his way back into the lobby, and but again, looking to be quite an exciting game. However, with all the issues, I think it's sensible that we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with game 3 and the final game of this best of 3 quarterfinal match between Hillerød Esports and Flams Esports.
As a child, you would wait and watch from far away, but you always knew that you'd be the one to work while they all play. And you'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream. Prove yourself, your spirit never dies. Farewell, I've gone
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Serenity Gaming Division 1 quarterfinals between Flams Esports and Hillerød. We have a Sona Galio, we have a Sejuani Camille, and most importantly, we have a Pike Yumi. I am your dead. Break this down for us.
Yes, we have seen a very competitive series so far, with both of the two first games being very decisive bloodbaths. We are gonna see the third game with a Pike, which does indicate that this will indeed be another very much just roam everywhere lane, where we can see plays happening around the map. At the same time, we can also see two very important lane pickups in both the Camille Sejuani combo and the Sona Galio, with the Galio especially being important because of the incredible amount of roam potential it has with the Camille and setup potential, where they can combo together. So this Camille from Sloth is going to be a big game changer. So keep your eyes on that, because this is definitely who is going to carry Hillerød if they're going to win this. We also get to see the Sona bot lane, who has been terrorizing lately with all of the relic shield supports that she can get her hands on. We also get to see that Sebo and Nikolai, while they played Pike and Nico last game, they have actually swapped it up, so there might be some bit of a confusion there. No, it's not for certain. It is probably gonna have a bit of visual impact when it comes to the team fight, at least. We also see Tetsuya on this Jarvan again, which I also lastly will highlight has been very important in the last game, and with his early and very dominant lane in phases.
Now, we can already tell this is going to be an extremely explosive game, possibly very snowbally. We've seen in games 1 and 2 a lot of kills in those early games phases. We've seen Tetsuya being so aggressive in both game 1 on her Rek'Sai and in game 2 on her Jarvan, which she is playing again in game 3. We're going to be seeing a lot of ganks, and with Alban on the Sejuani, possibly even more explosive. And to add on to all of that, our first Drake is going to be an Infernal.
Yeah, and lastly, I just want to mention that of course there is still far control from the side of Flams Esport, who has been dominating the first 2 games, truly stepping up as his team main threat. And we also see him this game on the Aatrox, which of course is one of the best counters to the Urgot.
Right now, Flams Esports going for that 5-man down the bot lane, but Hillerød not going for the same thing that we've seen in games 1 and 2. Now, of course, Nikolai does have that bone skewer, but the ward drop very early on, so it looks like we're going to be seeing a bit more of a sensible game coming through from Hillerød in game number 3.
Yeah, especially after the tragedy that is Shim's bot ADC. Sadly, while it was incredibly spicy to pick out, it didn't have the success we were hoping for. And while we do meme around with Shim not ever playing that marksman, we do also see some incredibly fun thing happening in this bot lane with now the Pike, the Sona, which is of course 2 of the most dominant champions currently on the Rift.
Now that I think about it, it would have been quite good if we saw a Yasuo Leona in that bot lane. Could have been very spicy.
Yeah, and add onto that we've seen 2 Mordekaiser bans and 1 pickup, even though that it has not even been allowed yet. So we have truly seen just about anything in this series, and we are eagerly awaiting to see what's gonna happen next.
Now both junglers will be starting on their top side. The Bone Skewer will land onto Shim. Taba looking to get some trade damage, but completely in favor of Flams Esports to start with, as everything may potentially settle down. But look at this, Tetsuya going for the level 2 in this mid lane. Has got the flag and drag. The flash comes through from pass. The flash in from Tetsuya, and it's the first blood to Flams Esports.
Yeah, we did highlight the fact that Tetsuya is this early game jungler. We knew that Tetsuya was going to start topside, and yet Pascal still didn't respect it. So far having so much problems with far control and holding up, and now he's in one of the worst matchups he could possibly face, and he just didn't respect it.
Yeah, and that is just so good from Tetsuya. She's been big in all 3 games. And this jungler matchup between Tezechi and Alban is arguably what's created, you know, such a perfectly balanced game almost in these early phases, as Sebel getting off a lot of damage with that Pot Blossom. But once again, it looks like we're going to be in for a very aggressive early game.
Yeah, it definitely does, as we are seeing these lanes really come online now, and almost getting their level 3s all around, which is of course where the spiciness start to ramp up. We did see that a lot of early game kills coming through before the 8-minute mark, so that is where I predict that we will start seeing the most stuff happening.
Now Sloth getting poked down a lot in this mid lane, but we're going to be seeing a jungler battle between Alban and Tezechi. Both of them have the double buffs. However, the Hillerød Esport bot lane is a little bit closer and is able to roam faster, and Tezechi giving a lot of respect to that potential roam, as once again Sloth just struggling against the poke from Sebel. And we saw Sloth in game 1 really strong in the TF, but since then Sebel has had the better of him.
Yeah, and that has also largely been because of Tesachi's pressure, but this time around he is playing the Camille, which is really hard to play with in the mid lane. I know from personal experience playing a lot of Camille mid lane whenever I had the role, that in the range matchups you will take a lot of poke early game.
We're getting another jungler battle. The smite comes through from Tezechi, uses the flag to pick up the kill. However, the passive off Sejuani gets the CC down. The wall jump from Sloth will be able to bring Tezechi low. Tezechi gets the shield. Is she actually going to be escaped from this? Oh, she just gets taken down, almost managing to find that outplay, but the kill going on to Sloth there, and it's 1 kill apiece between Flams Esports and Hillerød.
Yeah, and these guys never back down from a fight. These guys know for a fact that if they get just a bit behind, it might just end up losing them an entire game, and therefore they will take any fight they can get their hands on, and this time it just went out in the favor of Hillerød Esports.
And another thing I want to mention is, you know, a lot of times when we see the Sona Tarek, okay, it's the Sona Galio this time, they're always behind in CS. But this time, Taba has a bit of a lead in CS over Nikolai.
Yeah, and I do actually know a bit about the Hillerød Esports outside of this matchup, as one of my buddies is very much invested in the UK league, and he has scrimmed a lot against them, and he does know quite a lot about these guys. And
we're getting the engage in the bot lane as the flag and drag will come through. Tezechi can't quite find the knock up. And going back onto what you were saying, I am your dead.
Yeah, so I do know a bit about them, and we have heard about all the creative things, but it looks like they have had a lot of mental booms in their games, where they try out so many different random and chaotic stuff as we have seen in this series, but just can't ever really lock it down.
It seems to be Hillerød's perks, playing those crazy matchups, as the ultimate coming through in the mid lane from Siebel, as the Pot Blossom will buy that little bit of time, as Sloth looking to find that little bit of damage, can't quite find anything just yet.
Yeah, and that is the problem with the Camille mid lane, because
he goes in, he's gone under turret, he gets off the Hextech ultimatum, he finds the kill, but the turret will get the return kill 1-for-1 in this mid lane.
Yeah, very well played there in getting that 1-for-1. But this is, of course, what we talked about with the Camille mid lane. While it does seem to struggle against the range matchup, if they don't get a kill on her, they will struggle with their mana problems, because Camille can still stay so far back and just...
Now, Alban actually, he's looking for the outplay onto Tezechi. I'm not sure if he's got the damage. Tezechi so low. The flash comes in from Alban, and he secures the kill. This jungler battle is going through from game 1 all the way into game 3, and it's not over yet.
Yeah, this is... second time in a row that Tezechi has died due to his flash being down, and that was of course after he got that first blood in the top lane, and it's really come to bite him. And of course this is something that happens when
as in the mid lane, the E coming through from Nikolai. Shim is so low, and Shim will fall as Nikolai will get the first kill in that bot lane.
And that's just what we expect from these guys: more aggression, more kills. What else? What else can happen? Playing safe? Nah, we ain't about that life, fam.
And this is just, I mean, as a caster, you want to see this kind of stuff. Sometimes it gets too much, but I've been really enjoying this best of 3 series so far.
Yeah, definitely. This has been a very enjoyable series so far, but of course it's at the same time where you don't really know what actually is going to happen. You try and predict everything, but because you're so not used to seeing this is not League of Legends to me. None of this ADC stuff. That's last season after all. We should have been going away from that, but nope. Here we are, season 9, not seeing a single ADC except for in the losing matchups, and and now we're seeing Sloth being called out here by Sebel. Or Sebel.
Sloth will be able to use the dash, the hook shot, to be able to escape. But going back to what you were saying about, ADCs winning. I mean, last game, there wasn't even a single ADC.
Yeah, and like we have only seen a server so far in the series. We have seen a Glacier Nico bot lane, but that's about it. So far, we really would like to see something else come in.
Oh, here comes the...
So that we will have an easier time cast.
Zechi.
Yeah, Sloth is just the mastermind behind this team. He is truly who is going to carry them. And we really do hope to see that Passes can live in this lane, because Far Control is still the obvious carry for Flam's Esport.
However, he's a little bit low on mana right now, and the depth from below is available from Nikolai. And speaking of Nikolai looking for the engage to Zechi is here, closely followed by Siebel. Depth from below will find one. Cataclysm locks down Tauber for a little bit. Depth from below will bring Tauber down, and Zechi will secure the second kill. 5 kills versus 3 in favor of Flam's Esports. And speaking of Flams, that Infernal Drake is up.
Yeah, and this is where we say that putting the jungler and mid laner as with such roam potential is just so amazing. While this game Sebel doesn't have a TP, he still has the Nico, which does let him play a lot more stealthily, and he does have a lot of crowd control. Sasachi, of course, being this early game jungle means that they also can get down in the spot lane and set up almost anything. And Pyke, of course, with the depth from below, is just way too hard to deal with.
And we mentioned how big Fart Control has been. Vaz, that's a massive dive. The Glacial Augment coming in, followed by the Hextech Ultimatum. Fear Beyond Death comes in. Pask secures the kill. And the 3 members of Hillerød will move on to this outer turret.
Yeah, and very well played. We did, of course, see them go topside, but we did think that they might have been going over a ward, but they are actually so insane with setting up all of these wards. Just try and look at the map currently. We see 4 controllers being set up for Hillerød, and this is something we keep seeing. They set up the vision control in advance, very well set up, and then they just see a one opportunity to just go up after something, and they will immediately. As the Rift Herald is probably getting started right here by Alban.
Bone Skewer can't quite find anything in the mid lane. As you mentioned, Alban starting on this Rift Herald, but this mid lane turret is gonna fall. Sloth is here, might be able to buy a bit of time. Flag and Dragger comes through from Tezechi to back off. First turret is still available as the Rift Herald will be secured. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Nikolai looking pretty strong, has picked up that Tiamat and Serrated Dirk. However, now that Shim has upgraded his support item and has bought that tier, he is now essentially the ADC and has started CSing, but 5 kills to 4 in favor of Flams.
Yeah, and I want to mention that even though little fight here bot lane. No, all right.
Yes.
So I want to mention that even though it has felt like Flams has been right on top of Hillerød in this game so far, it is only a 500 gold lead and an Infernal Drake. So and there's still a Herald on Alban's side, so it's not like Flams is currently out of control. It's just that after the last game and the Pyke being picked up with all of this plates we just saw, it can feel like they are the ones ahead.
Alba playing very aggressive into Nikolai, and while in game 1 it was a lot of fights, very skirmishy, but Hillerød seemed to have everything under control. Game 2, as Sloth will use the hook shot to escape to safety. But back to what I was saying, in game 2 it was very Clown Fiesta-y, and Flams were able to come out on top every time, but this seems very skirmishy but controlled. Only 9 kills as in the top lane. That's a big play. It's 2 kills going over onto Flams Esports as Pask and Alban will fall. Sloth in the mid lane has been ignited, tries to find the return play, won't get hit by the Tangle Bubs. Blooming Buzz back available, won't be able to find his pick. Sloth might be looking for something as a double kill coming through in the bot lane with the death from below. And this game, just as I was saying it's controlled, has completely blown up with 4 kills in the space of a minute, going over to Flams Esports.
Yeah, definitely. That has happening so many fights, and Sona has not been able to scale up yet, so she's definitely not even at her closest point. She does want to stay and get those 2 items, getting Archangel Staff that she's just picked up, and as well as the Lich Bane, so she can start bursting out squishy targets. But Pyke has already reached his power spike at the Tiamat, which means he has full control of this lane, and there's no way that Sona and Gallery should ever be trying to look for a fight.
Yeah, and also that Dark Seal also picked up by Undercover Potato on the Yuumi, something that we do see all Yuumi's building. 2 outer turrets have fallen in that top and bot lane. We were saying it was even. Now we see a 4.5k goal lead in favor of Flams Esports, as another bone skewer will land. Tauber will use the dash to safety. The Shield of Duran comes through to get the taunt off. Nikolai will be able to escape though.
Look at Tasechi in the top side.
Yeah, here comes Tasechi. The back's going to come through from Pasquez, but he's going to be caught out. Can he find anything? The Flag and Drag will find something. Pasquez gets the flip. However, that's going to be a good Darkin Blade, and the kill secured by Fart Control, who is 2-1 as we hit the 14-minute point, and turret plating has fallen. As now Pop Blossom coming through. Shim is gonna fall. That's a Hextech GLP coming in. The final chapter will come through. Tauber will get hit by the Tangle Barbs, and it's gonna be another 2 kills in that bot lane. Flams Esports running wild.
Yeah, it truly does, and they are looking so amazing in these fights. They are truly setting up the fights all around the map, and there's just nothing that Hillerød seems to be able to do, because as they have been drafting a comp that works better as a team, and yet they're not out of the laning phase yet, and they're still looking for fights.
And a second Infernal Drake is up. This is going to be absolutely huge if Flams can take it. And there is going to be 0 contestation as Nikolai going to secure the 3rd and a final outer turret in this bot lane. I am your dead. What do Hillerød need to do if they want to get back into this game 3 and stand a chance of making it through into the semis?
Yeah, and of course there's now a 7k gold lead as Shim. Oh no, you're way too far up, man. Okay, there's nothing happening in bot lane. I was just afraid that Nikolai just might have killed there, but he doesn't have much mana.
And this is actually really sad because the Rift Herald spawned in the top lane, but it's not going to be able to get the charge off, I don't think. Albin is here, so he will get behind. He can't hit that Rift Herald. The TP will come through. The turret will survive. Fear Beyond Death will
Very
land.
well
Pasquez finds the kill. Nikolai with the bone skewer could look for something. He gets a Phantom Undertow off. Death from below is available. Can he get them below the execution range? No, he can't. The shutdown comes through. Undercover Potato is left. Albert takes 2 turret shots. Will get low, but 2 kills coming in from Hillerød.
And you were talking about what I think that they have to do.
Oh, as Sloth finds the kill, and
that's exactly it. They have to group up as Tasechi is going for Sona, but while that's happening, let's just take a look and see what's
Shim
going
will
on.
burn the flash. Flag and Drag available in 3 seconds. Cataclysm also here. Tango Bobs will land, and the Blooming Burst will secure the kill.
Yeah, but as we're going back to what Hillerød has to do, this is exactly it. They have to group up, they have to get a few picks, especially out to the members they know will actually get
Oh, here comes the taunt. The Pop Blossom will come through. The Zonya's being buzzed. Sloth low. Cataclysm secures the kill. TP coming through. Fear Beyond Death not available just yet. Sybil will escape. Tasechi using the flash to safety as the World Enter has been cost. Fart Control will pick up the kill. It's 2 kills for Flams, and Flams turning this back around in their favor.
Yeah, and they just go for something a little too aggressive without knowing where people are on the map, and this is the problem. I think Hillerød Esport has the one problem of turning down the tempo of the game, and of course it is very hard, especially with the 2 Infernal Drakes over for the side of Flams, but right now that is their game plan. They have to turn back.
Dark and Blade will get the CC onto top of the flash forward. Hextech GOP slows down Shim.
Yeah.
They can't find anything onto him just yet. Tangle Bobs will come through. Far Control will find the kill. Seraph's Embrace wasn't enough for Shim, as the hookshot will buy Sloth a little bit of time, but through 2 kills for nothing for Flams, and we haven't even got Baron up yet. Next Drake is going to be an Infernal in 2 minutes, and that could be a triple Infernal. As Sloth getting caught out. Phantom Undertow can't quite find the CC. Hextech GLP not quite in range, and Sloth will be able to survive.
Yeah, and one thing we do actually have to mention is the fact that Pascus actually did start off with an Executioner's Calling, and I think that's one of the best buys that he could possibly do, not just because for Aatrox for having a lot of healing, but because the entire lineup for Flams Esport has a lot of healing, and that Executioner's Calling is gonna be crucial, because anti-healing against their comp, after they get a few items and actually try and group up for fights, is amazing and will do huge wonders for them and give them a chance to come back.
Of course, that healing from Undercover Potato and the World Ender from Fart Control, absolutely massive. So very good. Executioners pick up there. Still got a minute until Infernal. However, Flams have backed off for now. They've got their resets. Twin Shadows has been picked up by Siebel, as is the Hextech GLP, which we mentioned before. Don't forget that Death Stance from Fart Control. And we'll have to see whether Hillerød Esports can find any way back into this game.
Yeah, and there's one thing I really also like to mention. It is that, of course, Sona is most likely looking for now getting that Lich Bane, because that is the standard build. But I would also like to see, instead of going for a depth cap third item, I would like to maybe even get something a little better called the Morellonomicon, because as we all know, that gives some anti-healing, and that is what is needed against a Pike and a Yuumi, which will almost never die if you can't stop their healing.
Of course, that passive from Pike, using that Ghost Water Dive just to get the reset, as the Cataclysm finding the kill onto Sloth. And Hillerød Esports, I use this word a lot in yesterday's series, but desperation. Are Hillerød Esports getting desperate now?
Yeah, I definitely think they are. And I also think this kind of shows exactly what Hillerød's bot lane is about. They're about doing crazy combos themselves, but they actually don't really know how to deal with them. So once they actually go between something that isn't really standard, while the other team knows how to play around you now, they are struggling and they don't really know how to do, as it is Hillerød's bot lane has been holding them down in this game.
Esports, they're taking the G2 approach. If you find something that's annoying like that Sona turret, play something even more annoying, and they have pulled out the Pike Yuumi that Hillerød themselves picked out in game 2. Baron is on the table. Flams have the triple Infernal. Drake. Waves are crashing in onto Flams inhibitor turret. Flams, surely they can go for Baron now.
Yeah, and truly, even though it sounds very cynical, I do believe that the only chance that Hillerød has right now is either going for the Baron themselves and making sure that there's no way in hell Flams is getting it, or else they have to stall out the game for at least 15 minutes until this Sona can come online and truly make sure that Sloth and Passes can carry.
See how much damage Shim can do on a Sona. At the flash, Phantom Dancer comes through. The CC will come in. Hextech ultimatum buys a bit of time. Hookshot will get Sloth to safety. Hero's entrance, though, might just be the suicide from Tauber. He can't use a Justice Punch to safety. Tauber will fall. Tazechi finds the pick onto Sloth. Sloth and Tauber are down. Alban is alive, and Tazechi starting on the Baron.
Yeah, this could be the final nail in the coffin for Flams Esport, as Hillerød is on their last straw, having to steal this with Alban right near the pit.
Alban making his way around to the back of the pit. They have dropped down the blue ward. They know it's been started. Baron on 5,000 HP. This is going to be so important. Alban needs to drop the wood. Pasks is here. He comes in. He can't find the smite. Alban will flash out of the pit. Uses the blast cone to safety. Can he find something onto Sebel? As Shim will pick up the shutdown goal. Can Hillerød find something? No, they can't. Not just yet. Far Control picking one kill. Alban being picked out. Bone Skewer is used. The Phantom Undertow used. Alban delaying as much time as possible, playing it so well, but Far Control will find the kill. There's nothing Alban can do in a 3v1.
Yeah, and look what Hillerød's rest of the team is doing. They are stopping the minion wave so they can't just immediately turn this into a game win, as Pascas might be called up. Now he's flashing away.
Able to escape, but yet another flash burned. Flams Esports, 22 kills to 8, 46k gold to 38k, 4 turret advantage, and they will be looking to crack open the base of Hillerød with this first Baron push.
Yeah, and look where Pascas is right now. That's very far up, but that is exactly what you have to do when the Baron buffs up. You have to take these risks, because if they ever get that minion wave into your inhib turret, you are as good as screwed. Once an inhib is down for one team, it's almost impossible to get back when the game is this stable and the players are this good.
I just want to mention this warding from Hillerød. These 3 wards down the mid lane. As speaking of taking risks, the Cataclysm will come through. Orban's low. Sloth uses a hook shot to safety. This is a lot of damage coming through from Flams. They find 2 kills. It's only Shim left. Shim's got nowhere to go. The 3rd kill comes through. Tezechi is unstoppable. Sloth trying to clear those waves, as right now Flams might actually just go all in into this turret. But
yeah, and I wanna praise Hillerød so much for that, because even though they lose in this 1v3, look at where Sloth has done. He's made sure that these waves are still not working, and while they couldn't get Nikolai fast enough, which was the entire plan, they do still make sure that this Baron buff is delayed with their impact, as Pascas can now take down the rest of the waves without much problem. And now the Baron buff is almost useless, as most of its impact has already been negated, all for the sake of a few minor gold leads that they already had in their possession.
Hillerød playing this extremely smart. Now, if triple Infernal Drakes weren't aggressive enough, we've got a Mountain Drake, and that's really going to help Flams in this season, getting that damage down to those turrets. Oh, the only inner turret that is left is that in the top lane, and Nikolai is there at the minute, slow pushing that forward, while Tezechi in the mid lane. And Tezechi and Sebel gonna rotate over now to Drake. It is up 10 seconds on it. Is it worth it for Hillerød to int to try to secure this Drake?
It is a Mountain Drake, so it is of course incredibly important, because that is exactly what Flams wants. Like, all of these aggressive Drakes have only served them, and it is kind of like almost unfair that they've been so lucky with the Drakes, but this is just how League of Legends works. And that is just sad for Hillerød, but of course they can't do anything, because they're this far behind, and losing even once or doing something that's a little out of order will lose them the game.
Now, something I want to bring up, in those Division 3 final games, we'd see at this point, you know, an 80 vision score, 70 vision score, 17 and 30 from Undercover Potato and Tauber respectively. Not the highest vision control game.
No, but I also think that's a lot about the Pyke and Yuumi roaming around to get kills more so than going for the vision. Yuumi is not one of the supports that get a lot of vision down compared to others. I would more so say that's on the power of the Sona bot lanes, because that's giving double bot lane vision score at the time, because they both get that support item.
Now, the Darkened Blade coming through from Fart Control, who's now going to roam up to top. While all this has been happening, Sebel in the bot lane taking some of those jungle camps. Just the starving game of Hillerød's jungle has begun, and it looks like Flams going for this 1-3-1 setup. And they're going to push the waves, but Hillerød doing a great job of defending and wave clearing so far.
Yeah, and I really want to praise Hillerød for that, because after a performance that almost looked like, especially from the bot lane side, where mid lane, jungle and top lane were only just hanging on with the skin of their teeth going even, we are seeing them having such a control game now, and they're really just making sure that all of the objective control is in their hands. They can get the Drakes and Barons on the side of Flams, but they will make sure that this base is staying up. It will not fall.
That's one of the most crucial points of League. You can get all of those other turrets, but until you crack that base open, the game is wide open.
Yeah, definitely so, especially because Sona is already getting her 2 item power spike. But now, I believe it is a a 40% cooldown reduction, might even be a 45. Yeah, it is a 45%, which does lead her to just being able to spam abilities. And now she can just get all of her items, which means that she will just continue to heal and damage and movement speed up in all of these fights without anyone being able to stop Sloth and Pascas, without an incredible amount of anti-heal and burst coming through.
Now, we've been talking for a while about Shimmer coming online on that Sona. Has picked up the Lich Bane. Looks like he's possibly going for a Rabadon's next item. Not going for that the Morellonomicon that you were mentioning earlier. And Baron spawning up right now.
And I definitely also think that's fine for this game, because Sona is supposed to be the AP threat, and currently it does seem like Pascas gets all of the anti-heal down on multiple members, but I do also think that this Baron is definitely going to come down, so now Hillerød has to make sure that these waves can't crash.
The Baron has been secured for control already in that bot lane split, pushing Hillerød. Gonna have to defend all over again. Last time the Baron was secured, Hillerød sacrificed kills, but they were able to proxy farm really well to stop the Hillerød pushes in. They've got a decent little bit of wave clear that they will use, but Flams Esport again gonna take more of these jungle camps and now rotating to this bot lane. That inner turret in the top lane still standing as well.
Yeah, and we always say that Baron is almost a death sentence from any team, but that isn't actually entirely true. It's because it makes you so easy to siege with. And the one thing that I want to mention about these crazy comps is they don't have an ADC, and ADCs are the incredible strong sieging tool. And that also means that it's much easier to deal with Baron waves, especially for teams this good at macro management. So even though they get 2 Barons so far, Hillerød can easily still shut them down, because they know there's no ADC to siege, and if we just play this smart and play around the minions, we should just be able to survive this.
Oh, we might be getting an engage in the mid lane. Pop Blossom comes through. The crescendo will buy a little bit of time. Glacial Prison will allow Tauber to flash to safety. Hextech Ultimatum comes through. The flash from Sloth. Cataclysm secures a kill from Tezechi. The flag and drag in. Tauber is in the wrong place right now. Albert under turret. Tezechi taking the turret shots. The stopwatch will buy a little bit of time. The Guardian's Angel has been popped from Tezechi. Pascas trying to do as much as he can. Gets the flip through. Tezechi gets blown up. It's 2 kills for nothing for Flams. But look how low Hillerød are. Shim is forced to back up. The base has finally been cracked open. Inhibitor number 1 is taken. Flams are gonna keep on pushing. It's a 5v3. Tauber is here. Hero's entrance not available. The knock-in comes through. They get the taunt. They get the damage. Siebel will fall. How much more damage can Tauber do? Darkin Blade will get a lot of damage. Far Control picks up 1 kill. The Bone Skewer coming in. Shim will fall. Seraph's Embrace not going to be enough. Alban getting poked down. Permafrost not coming through. Far Control taking so much damage. The base is collapsing. 1 Nexus turret down. 2 Nexus turrets are down. And Flams Esports will reverse sweep to take the 2-1 against Hillerød.
Yeah, and I want to mention how incredibly this series was to cast, and how amazing both teams has been playing this with an incredible, fun and amazing style to look at. But most importantly, I also want to mention how this fight came to an end, because we saw that in the mid lane they were quite far up to stop this minion wave. I don't think that's particularly wrong of them, because they have to do that. But when they just get caught out just a slimy bit, and we see Tauber just being caught out here, not dying but almost so. We see Shim's crescendo just barely missing, but that's 1 crucial ult down for them, and that just means that this fight is just incredibly initiated, as Sloth walks in, gets his ult down, but sadly also dies in the process. It's a very sad ending for Hillerød with 1 small mistake, but that is just what we were waiting for, as after such an incredible game, I want to praise both teams, as we see Flams Esport winning after what I only describe as a great performance.
Yeah, an absolutely fantastic best of 3. And if that crescendo had landed, as you said, it could have been completely different. But that has been the first quarterfinals of this best of this. Sorry, let me start that again. That has been the first quarterfinal of Serenity Gaming Division 1 between Hillerød Esport and Flams Esport. Flams Esport will advance to the semi-finals where they will play against Topaz, vying for that final spot. Tomorrow we will see Good Game Esports playing against Eastern Wizards at 7 p.m. CEST, so make sure you do join us for that. If you haven't already, do feel free to join us on our Discord server. You can find the links to our Discord server, our Twitter and Facebook all below the Twitch chat. However, once again, thank you guys very much for watching. I've been your play-by-play caster, Milky Cereal. Your color caster has been... okay. I've been your play-by-play caster, Milky Cereal. I'm your dead was color casting alongside me. And from both of us, we wish you a good night.